Are you an online business owner who has recently faced a lot of problems with your outsourced team? Maybe it's a project manager, a virtual assistant, your chief of staff, video editor, or maybe just someone in your team who has not been performing to the standard that you want them to perform. Maybe they missed out on a few messages or their initial promises when they were hired on the role. I definitely empathize with you. This feeling is not that rare. And sometimes it can be fixed with some mediation, some coaching, and a lot of communication, really. And sometimes your remote professional could also be going through something really personal and really deep. So it's really important as a leader that you reach out to them, that you have this open communication, and you have a good relationship with them. But sometimes it's also really the end of the line, and you have to know what are the signs when it's actually time to let go of your virtual assistant, project manager, video editor, basically anyone in your remote or outsourced team. I'm Carla Singson of Proximity Outsourcing, and I have a decade of experience in outsourcing and managing remote teams for my own businesses and the businesses of my clients. I mostly serve marketing agencies and fast growth online businesses, and they come to me when they need real A players, something more than just a super basic bargain basement VA, when they're tired of all the bad options of all the outsourcing scams. They come to us so that they can get top tier Filipino and Latin American talent. So in this video, I'll tell you about the 5 reasons to finally let go of your virtual assistant or your remote outsourced team. These are certain signs, and these are things that if you see them and if they're very clear and they're really happening for you right now or in your company, it's absolutely time to let this person go. So number 1 sign is you're managing them more than you're managing your business. So the reason why you hired outside help or while you outsource certain tasks in your business is that you can get some help. This is not supposed to be another task or another job for you. And sure, there could be problems every now and then, but the ideal situation is that they're helping you manage your business and it's not you trying to manage them so that they can do the tasks that they're hired for. So if you're noticing that you're starting to spend more and more time managing this person, double checking everything, making sure that they've crossed their T's and dotted their I's, then that might be a sign to let them go. Number 2 is if they can't keep up with your pace of growth or your adaptability. So there is a certain time in an entrepreneur's life when your business is growing so fast and there's just certain people in the team that cannot keep up with it. Adaptability is a very important trait of a valuable outsourced team member, no matter what their role is. So whether they're a bookkeeper, a video editor, a graphic designer, a copywriter, someone as high as an operations manager, if they can't keep up with you, with the growth of your business, and if they cannot be adaptable to the growth that you're experiencing, they might not be ready for that. They might not be the right people for that next level of your business. And honestly, let me give you a little bit of industry info. A lot of people come to my company, Proximity Outsourcing, when they're experiencing this high level of growth, this exponential growth, when they're feeling like, oh my gosh, it's time to scale, and their intuition tells them that they're ready for this next level. That's usually when they come to us, because we hire only the best talent, the top 1% of the 1%, the creme de la creme of Filipino and Latin American talent. And if you know anything about us or the people who have worked with us, they will definitely confirm with you that that is the quality that we place in these businesses. So if the people you're working with now cannot meet you at that level, maybe it's time to cut your losses and to transition them out of the company. Number 3 is if they struggle with initiative. So a good team member will not wait for you to say something. They will anticipate it. And sometimes it's okay to make mistakes if they initiated something and it didn't quite work out. But if you can see the intention and the real desire to grow at the pace that you want, just like what I said, adaptability is very important. And also if they have certain solutions before problems even arise, that is a good sign. However, if your team members struggles with initiative, and if certain things are very common sense, but they just don't seem to get it, it might not be a good fit. It might not be a good match, and maybe it's time to let go. Number 4 sign that it might be time to let go of your remote professional: when communication becomes very rusty. So if you're experiencing some missed messages, some unclear messaging, if you have to repeat a couple of times for them to provide you proper context, then that is not a good sign at all. So sometimes when you call them out on this, they will give you an apology. But at the same time, if you experience it again and the communication's been bad again, or if this is something that would arise every 3 months or so, and if it seems like they did not learn from the previous feedback that you gave them about their communication, then it might not be a good match. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, maybe they have also kind of taken this job for granted. So in my experience in outsourcing, if someone has been communicating perfectly and you've been happy with them and they've been very good at their role for a while, maybe more than 6 months, and then this communication level drops and they miss on a few messages, honestly, to be completely honest with you, maybe they found another job, maybe they're moonlighting, and that's not a good sign at all. So definitely clarify this with them. And as a bonus, I will also recommend doing time tracking. So there are tools like Time Doctor, WorkSnaps, Hubstaff, and these are certain tools that help you time track and really monitor their efficiency. Now, let me tell you, it is not anyone's dream to micromanage someone or to check every day that someone is doing their task by the minute. But these time tracking recordings or any information that you get from these time trackers is very important if you really need to check something. So in this case, if you are unhappy with something, with your relationship with your remote professional, then pulling up the time tracking records also helps in clarifying certain expectations. So number 5 sign that you might have to let go of your remote professional is you've hit the dread point or the burnout where you feel that, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself because it's easier. So usually this dread point, this burnout point as a boss or as a client comes when there's so many repeated mistakes, when you ask them to walk you through their thought process and they can't explain themselves properly, or when you feel that they just don't get the instruction and so they do something wrong, but they also don't ask questions, even if you've encouraged them to do so. These are the signs when a client or a boss will feel that the relationship really has nowhere to go. And let me tell you, when that happens, it is very, very likely that the relationship has nowhere to go. So if you do feel that there is something that should still be salvaged from the relationship, my suggestion is you can do some sort of an onboarding refresh, do a review on their job description, the expectations. I would also encourage you to build a new scorecard for them and for them to complete maybe a 30-day sprint, a 60-day sprint to fix their mistakes. If you want to give them a chance, like no problem. If you really feel that it can still be saved or you have a really good relationship with this person, but unfortunately, maybe 3 out of the 5 signs are there, but you still kind of want to see if it's worth saving, then that would be my advice. Do an onboarding refresh, do sprints that are tied to certain goals in your business, and then carefully lay out your expectations moving forward. So in some companies and in some corporations as well, they refer to this as a performance improvement plan, which is basically like you have to do this so you don't get fired. That's the simplest way I can do it, but it's also a real effort in both the boss and the subordinate or the client and the remote professional. It is a joint effort for them to help each other to communicate properly, and for the remote professional, for the employee or the subordinate to also express the things that they need to succeed in the job that they have. So if you are the boss or the client, also be open to feedback and give them that safe space to communicate with you as well. So those are the 5 signs that you may have to let go of your virtual assistant or anyone in your remote team. And if you are tired trying to make it work, trying to DIY this thing, definitely find us at Proximity Outsourcing or click subscribe so you can get more of these informative and educational videos about using outsourcing to grow your online business.